Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV's live telecast of the ANZCAR Thursday Night Thunder, coming to you live tonight from Iowa Speedway, and it's going to be an interesting night out there. But before we have a look at our qualifying, I'd like to introduce my co-host tonight, Wee-Han Chan. Welcome Wee-Han, it's night 4 trucks, mate.
Hey Bernie, good evening. Yes, of course, this does look to be quite a crazy race that will unfold tonight. Of course, we're coming live from Iowa with around 27 drivers.
Yeah, it's an awesome turnout tonight, and having a look before we get into the qualifying, and we'll talk about that in a minute. It must be said, Jake Blackhall, he's coming into this third round undefeated. 2 wins from 2 starts on 86 points. He has to go in as the champion tonight, without a doubt. Jason Martin sitting in second. He's pretty much had a very good average finish of around about 4th. But 81 points. In third, Darren McKenzie on 80 points. His average starts normally around 12. Keep an eye on him. He's a mover, and his average finishes up around about 4th as well. Danny G there in 4th position. Average start again 4th, but he tends to fade a little bit, and he's sitting on 75 points. And then out of the last one in the top 5 is James Foster. Average start 7th, average finish 8th. Good midfield runner there on 73 points. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting. The other one to keep an eye on, folks, I'm not even sure if he's here. No, he's not, so I won't even say his name. But yeah, keep an eye on Jake Blackhall, that's for sure, Wee-Han.
Sure. Well, of course, I mean, I've not been following the full results, but this does look like it'll be an interesting race. Of course, the track, Iowa circuit being quite a popular track on the service, I think it brings about a lot of action, and we can all look forward to that tonight.
Yeah, we certainly can. And while the guys were practicing, I had a bit of a look at the weather, because if we bring that up now, you'll see what I mean. Basically, it's very cool out there tonight. It's overcast, 22 degrees Celsius, 72 degrees Fahrenheit. The total length of this track, very short really, 0.89 miles or 1.43 kilometres. But one thing I have noticed quite a bit during practice, Wee-Han, and that is the cars the trucks, sorry folks, tend to be getting loose very quickly around here, and it's something the drivers are going to have to be on top of, because combine that with the bumps, they're going to have their hands full.
Sure, it's not exactly an easy track to tackle, but of course, I think what the drivers can take advantage of is the 22 degrees Celsius track temperature tonight, because usually lower temperatures you might be able to just get a bit more grip out of the circuit.
Yeah, and we'll see exactly how they go with that. And of course, we were speaking off air, weren't we? And you spoke to one of your friends, and they were basically saying they think the high line is going to be the line to go for tonight, and keep an eye on the low line for all those overtakes.
Sure, I do believe the high line it would be more for carrying your speed through the corner, while for the low line it will be more for overtaking and also for the more riskier moves, because the line itself is slightly tighter when you're below, so keep an eye on that as well.
Yeah, so we've got our qualifying standings, top left-hand corner, folks, and we will try to update you on the times. Basically, it's 15 minutes they've got, and they have only 2 laps to set it, so the pressure's on Phil Otto. He's come out of the gate swinging already. He's provisionally pole here, 23.361 seconds. Now James Zeitz, he's jumped up, 23.132 seconds. So we're having a look at Phil Otto out there at the moment. He's basically done his laps, and he hasn't improved. He's sitting there in 4th at the moment. he hasn't improved in that 23.361 seconds at all. We'll go back and have a look at Nick Craddock though. He's on to his second flying lap, currently sitting in ninth, and we'll see what time he can do. The target 22.890 seconds. He comes across 23.656 and slips down to 10th, but at the moment Jason Martin, he is on provisional pole and he's on his second flying lap now, and doesn't look like he's going to improve. No, he doesn't, but he's still on, the only driver in the 22s.
Certainly a very quick lap time by Jason here, but of course I think if you're looking at the lap time differences here between the fastest and the slowest, it's just within a margin of 1 to 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, it's crazy close, isn't it? We can see now Dave Douglas comes across the line, 23.136 seconds, and he slipped down to fourth. It looks like they're all setting their fastest lap, first lap out, and then they're sliding off, which would make sense because they've got pretty much green tyres, haven't they, in that first lap. Second lap, they're going to be a bit more worn, as we see now Roger Clark coming across 23.889. He looks like he's going to be starting mid-pack around about 13th tonight. So I'm just having a look at who we haven't had come out yet. There's a number of drivers. Of course, you've got 15 minutes. It's lone qualifying, so they're not going to get balked. And no slipstreaming or anything like that, which there wouldn't be much of on a track like this. But some of the drivers we're waiting to see come out at the moment, folks, is Darren Bond, Riley Curtis, Darren O'Brien, Stephen Williams, Darren McKenzie, and of course Matt Stratford. And now if Matt does come out tonight, keep an eye on him, Weehan, because he tends to move through the field, and as the race gets on, he tends to get stronger. Can see now Darren Boyd out here. He's coming out to post his first fast lap here, Weehan. It's Darren Bond,
yes.
Sorry.
Of course, Darren out on his out lap here, crossing the line to start his first lap.
Yeah, so let's see what he can do and see what the first lap is. He's aiming here, Weehan, 22.890 is the fastest. If he can get it into the 23s, the low 23s, he stands a good chance of being in the top 10.
Certainly, as he approaches the line again, his lap time is... Oh, he's gotten a 23.390, and that puts him up to 10th.
Yeah, it's a good run there by Darren. He's on his second run now, and it looks like he's going to bail on that one. So I'd say he's pretty happy with that first performance, and he's coming back into the pits. We've got Stephen Williams. He's still got one more lap up his sleeve if he wishes to try and use that. Darren O'Brien, we're still waiting to see Darren come out, and he's been sitting there for a few minutes, and we still haven't seen Darren McKenzie or Matt Stratford. They're not actually in the car at the moment.
Yep, Darren looks to me as if he's sitting there, maybe waiting for a later opportunity.
Yeah, and we saw this in the first round. A lot of the guys, they've got 15 minutes and they all jump out and they all post fast times. And it doesn't leave them any time to respond, does it? Because they all put in their times and then we're sitting around waiting for 12 minutes, where I did notice some of the faster guys in round one, they actually left it to the last 3 minutes of qualifying. Then they went out and set their time, and of course they jumped right up, and then everyone else has had a run and they couldn't respond.
Well, I think it's more to do with the surprise factor, to just put in your lap time right at the last minute and, to shake things up a bit.
Yeah, we just heard from Riley Curtis down there in pit road. He basically said that second lap he aborted, not because he wasn't happy with the run, but he actually sneezed and it put him off. So he's had to come back to pit road. But our pit reporter down there was on top of that, and so that's rather interesting. I've never heard of a race driver sneezing before that puts him off a lap. But now we can see Steve Williams coming out in the number 98 Jack Daniels truck here, and we'll see what he can do. Currently he's seeded in 14th after his first flying lap, and he should get one more in. He's got a lot of internet connection problems here. Hopefully that won't affect him, and he's on his second flying run now.
Yes, he's done a lap time of 23 minutes and 5:41, so let's see if he can improve on that.
Yeah, so the pit crew might have done some tinkering to the car as he comes across now. 23.241. Now, where does that bring him? That hasn't really improved him. He's still sitting there in 14th position as he parks it rather nicely on the inside apron. So you can still see Darren O'Brien down there waiting to come out. I don't even think he's in the car, or if he is, the engine's turned off. Let's jump in. Yeah, there's not a peep coming out of that car, so I think he's waiting to come out a bit later on tonight in qualifying. Now, while we're waiting for the qualifying to continue, folks, tonight's race, 100 laps around here, 2 hours 20 timed, limited. I'm hoping we're not going to be here in 2 hours 20, but yeah, 100 laps around Iowa Speedway tonight. And as far as incident limits go, there's no limit, but they only have one fast repair. And I tell you what, Weehan, in this style of racing, NASCAR truck racing, one fast repair can go by the time you get through the first corner if you're not careful.
Well, it'll all depend on how the field starts to break out, because some drivers, they may just want to get the position nailed at the first corner, but we'll have to see, man. Yeah,
generally we've found as this racing's gone on from round to round, it's they've generally been getting some really nice long runs, and the action has been intense. So I'm hoping that's going to continue tonight. No reason why it wouldn't. We've got a big field. 28 drivers here tonight, folks, if they all take to the grid. And I'm just having a look at our time. We must be very close to being out of quali time now, and then we'll be going racing very shortly. So the other thing interesting about ANZCAR, Weehan, you're probably not aware of it, but Monday nights these guys run a development series. So what we're seeing here tonight, this is actually the top tier drivers in the ANZCAR truck series, but Monday nights is when they do the development series, and those guys, when they get good enough, they can step up into this racing, Thursday Night Thunder.
Oh, I've not known of that, but of course that does sound like an excellent system for drivers to start to learn before progressing on to this more challenging series.
Yeah, definitely, and it ensures that the standard of racing is at the highest it can be, because a lot of the time if you've got people learning NASCAR, if you have an incident, you get safety car, and that can frustrate people. But it looks like we have finished, so let's go through our grid tonight, folks, so you can see where your favourite driver is going to start. So Jason Martin takes pole position with 22.890 seconds. Keep an eye on Jake Blackhall, though, starting on his outside, and he's going to want to get into the lead and go for a runner if he can. James Eates starts in the second row on the inside with Dave Douglas in fourth next to him. Edward Foster is starting in the third row in fifth. Daniel Vassell, he'll start out of sixth tonight. Out of seventh, we've got Norman Clark, followed by Danny G in eighth. Phil Otto, he'll start from ninth, and Darren Bond, he's going to start next to him in 10th. Out of 11th tonight, Shannon Mason. Then we have Daniel Stevens starting out of 12th. Out of 13th, we've got Matt Clowett, followed by Stephen Williams in 14th. 15th is Roger Clark, and 16th is Jason Ress. Nick Craddock starting in 17th with James Foster out of 18th. Out of 19th tonight is... Oh, what have I done? I've clicked the wrong button. Here we go. 19th tonight, Jason Fewens. Then we've got Steve Hoppett starting out at 20th with Shane Witt in 21st. Darren Lord, he'll start out at 22nd. Daniel Trim down there in 23rd, and Craig Lawless, he's going to start out at 24th tonight. Riley Curtis will start in 25th. 26th, Darren McKenzie. Matt Stratford, he did not set a time, nor did Darren McKenzie for that matter. In 27th, Thomas Hines just joined the service, so he did not get an opportunity to set a time either in 28th, and Darren O'Brien in 29th. So it must be said, there's a bit of a question mark from 25th back to 29th about whether those drivers are going to make the grid tonight, Weehan.
Yes, I think some of them might have just disconnected right before, but we do have Thomas Hines and Darren O'Brien on the grid.
Yeah, the only car I can't see on the grid at the moment is Darren McKenzie. So he's not in his car at the moment. As we can see now, the field is moving out of pit lane, and they will start on their formation lap.
Of course, the driver is taking it slowly on the formation lap behind the pace car.
Yeah, so they'll get into formation here, 2x2, rolling start, of course, and we're going to be racing here very shortly. Got Jason Martin in the first row on the inside there. Keep an eye on Jake Blackhall on the outside, and it's going to be interesting. What do you think about advantage here? High side, low side, where would you prefer to be starting tonight?
I would always take the inside, Bertie, because you have the advantage of getting the shorter line across the corner and also maintaining your position. Although, of course, this is Iowa, you have to also be careful of the stability at the bottom section.
Okay, yeah, because it's quite bumpy down low, isn't it?
I believe so.
Yep. So we can see the different camera angles we've got here for you folks tonight. We've got the usual gearbox cams. Some of them will also be in, like, from the rear deck of the truck. So you'll see that as the racing goes on. We're just waiting now for the safety car. The lights are out here at Iowa, and we're going to be racing very, very shortly. And I tell you what, Weehan, the action is going to be aplenty as soon as this flag drops.
Sure it is.
So you can see now safety car is in. Jason has the control, and he goes on green. So we've got Jason Fewens in the lead. Jake Blackhall has a good start. Craig Foster trying to make it 3 wide. Oh, that's Eddie Foster, sorry, in the double RTV. He's slotted in to 6th position at the moment. But check out the number 10. He's going on the high side. That's Dave Douglas. And the 19 right under him is, who's that? James Zeitz.
Of course, now they're back to the outside line as they pass the start finish, and now down again to the inside. The 10 takes the second lane as they go into turns 1 and 2. Now he's out to the outside.
Yeah, and down in the 11th here we've got the number 1 Phil Otto on the outside. The 55 Shannon Mason on the inside. 2x2 back here, and Shannon has the run at the moment. You can see that high line starting to work as the 88, that's 98 Stephen Williams, he's going around the high side there of the 66. So that's Daniel Stevens.
Yeah, but they've now just gone very close, and the 98 takes the inside, and I do believe he stands at advantage here. Yes, he does get ahead of the number 1 car.
Yeah, see now the side there for 98. You can see Daniel Stevens having a run on the outside here. Oh man, I've got to get the cameraman onto this. You can just see how that high line is working as Stephen Williams is on the low line just trying to defend here. And the 66 is going the long way around. He's hanging out there, and he's going to, if he can get his across the nose of the 98, he'll have that position, but all of a sudden he's got a bit of push, and we're under safety car here. So So it looks like Jason Fewens may have brought out the safety car. We're going to jump back, folks, and see if we can work out what has happened here. So looking at the West End Mazda replay here, folks, and keep an eye on Jason Fewens. There's actually a car going slow down on the apron. I think that might... Oh, no, there he goes. He's got it loose and around he goes. Oh, it keeps it off the line, and he was lucky he didn't get tagged there.
Yeah, we just clipped the apron, then lost all balance, and it started to spin. Luckily, of course, he didn't get in the way of any other cars passing.
Yeah, it was a good save there, wasn't it? Now, question is anybody going to come in this early in the race? 6 laps down. And I think the tyres around here, they'd probably start going off around about 10 laps. Would that be right? I'm just guessing here.
I'm not entirely sure, but I think the sort of theory behind the tyre is that you want to get the tyres as fresh as possible so that you're able to make the corner as fast as possible, even so faster than the cars around you.
Yeah, and the pace car, folks, I've got to keep on telling me, don't call it the safety car. We're at NASCAR, it's the pace car. As we can see now, the 56 getting the wave around there. That is Shane Witt, who will get his lap back. And that was a car I saw down on the apron running very slow with a lot of rear end damage. But it looks like he's not sure if he's coming. Let's have a look. No, he has not, but we do have a number of drivers in there. We've got Matt Clowett, Shannon Mason, Daniel Stevens, Stephen Williams, Jason Ress, Thomas Hinds, Nick Craddock, Craig Lawless. They have all gone in and taken service under the pace car.
It does look like the rest of the field have decided not to pit for tyres at this stage.
Yeah, and one of the viewers wants to know where one of their favourite drivers are. That's Nick Craddock. He's sitting down there in 23rd at the moment in a beautifully presented 192 devilracecarts.com.au truck. He slid 6 positions from where he started, so probably not the start he's wanted. He has brought that car in though, and he has had that service, so we'll see how he goes on the restart here. You've got to love NASCAR, don't you? I reckon it's awesome.
Oh yeah, it is. It's where all the close high-speed racing come alive.
Yeah, it just amazes me like how close a lot of these guys can drive lap after lap, almost trading paint, sometimes trading paint, but keeping it on the black stuff, hopefully, and on the 4 black donuts underneath. We don't want them on the roof, of course, but it does happen. So we're just waiting now to see when the safety car is going to come in. It's still under yellow here. It generally takes about 5 to 6 laps, I think, the pace car. Every time I say safety car, you got to hit me, okay, Weehan?
Yeah, it's a pace car and it's a pit road.
What did I call it? Pit lane? God. So pit road, pace car. Alright, so the pace cars...
Lucky dog.
Yeah, the lucky dog. We've already seen the lucky dog go through. The guy got his wave around. Let's see if the pace car lights are out. They are, so we're going to be going back racing here. Looking at your top 10 as they stand, folks. So Jason Martins will start on the inside, Jake Blackhall still on the outside, Dave Douglas into 3rd with James Eight 2nd, 4th, Daniel Vassell, he's 5th, Edward Foster's moved into 6th, Danny G 7th, Darren Biden 8th, Norman Clark 9th, and Phil Otto rounds out your top 10.
Of course, the drivers have now gone too wide as they now approach the 3rd corner before not safety car, pace car. The pace car goes in.
Yep. So the pace car will be in. It's going to be interesting. When does Jason go? He went on green last time. Is he going to do the same, or is he going to try to back up? Of course, they cannot overtake until they get across the start-finish line. Now he puts a foot down. Clean start here. We've got Jake Blackall on the high side. He's been caught napping, and not a very good start from him. He's also backed up the 19th, James Zeitz, but Dave Douglas now, he's coming into second. Now Jake Blackall's starting to get some momentum on the high side there, and challenging as they go too wide down through turn 4. Turn 4. Keep an eye on Edward Foster though, as he's got Darren Bond right on his hammer.
Of course, Darren behind him, going ever so closely. Sorry, not as close now, but sorry,
you're contradicting yourself, buddy. Look at the 18. Daniel Vassell putting a slide down the inside here on the 117, but the 117, that high line is just so much better, and he does not make that move. Danny G is right behind him though in the number 13, sitting in 8th position.
Caution is out.
Wow, we're getting a lot of cautions. I'm not surprised in a way. This is a very bumpy track. The temperature is down, and as I was saying, in practice a lot of guys found the trucks to break loose quite easily. So what did bring out the safety car this time? Looking at the West End Mazda replay, it looks like Jason Ress has come to grief here. So we're just waiting to see exactly how this... oh, yeah, you got the 52 got up into him. And there goes the 74 around. Now the 52, I'm just trying to get who that was. That was Thomas Hines. Oh, Thomas got hit big time by the... I think that was the 18. So, yeah, a lot of damage there on Thomas's car.
Looked like a crazy crash.
Yeah, it was Steve Hoppett in the 81 that actually got into Thomas Hines. Looking back at that replay, it looked like basically Thomas has spun up onto the line, and Steve Hoppett's come around, nowhere to go, and is ploughed straight into the driver's door. Pace car is out, they're on pit road. So of course in pit road it's just as action-packed, isn't it, when the pit crews come out, because you know they can race to the line at the end of the pits, and that can help them make up positions. As we see the Subway truck now come out, and we'll have a look further back. Here comes Dave Douglas, but what's happening here? The 09 is still in, taking service, as you can see them throwing on 4 tyres. That is, I think, Roger Clark.
Yep, cars starting to make their way in to get their tyres changed, and I believe the tyres have started to fall out just a bit, and of course they're looking to have the maximum grip possible. Yeah,
so of course, you know, if you stay out, we've seen it before, staying out, not taking tyres can cost you big time, as we can see now as the guys are coming past the start-finish line. Jason Martin, well, he's led every lap of this race so far, and Jake Blackall, he's going to want a better start than last time because he got backed up a little bit, didn't he?
Yep, I do believe they're being set up well at this stage.
Yeah, so we'll have a look at our, let's see who to keep an eye on here as far as the movers are going tonight, folks. Keep an eye on James Foster. He's up 10 positions from where he started. So is Daniel Trim, up 13. Darren O'Brien up a massive 17 positions from where he started tonight. And then, of course, we've got Stephen Williams on the march, as well as Matt Stratford. I was saying earlier to keep an eye on him. He will move through the field as these laps tick down. Craig Lawless, he's also a mover at this point in time. And one of the guys going to the back is Dave Douglas at the moment, and that's because he's had his pit stop, so I wouldn't worry too much about that.
Certainly not. And Bernie, just to check, has about how much of the field has actually taken their pits at this stage?
3/4. The guys that have not taken to the pits as yet, our leader Jason Martin has not come to pit lane. Neither has Jake Blackhall, James Zeitz, Edward Foster, Darren Bond, Daniel Vassell, Norman Clark, James Foster, nor has Darren O'Brien or Shane Witt. Everybody else has pitted, and the average pit time is anything from 14 seconds flat up to around about 16.6 seconds. You can see at the moment Danny Trim, though, in quite a world of pain down here in pit lane. Weehan, he's now getting the tyres thrown on that car, but he has been sitting there for a very, very long time.
Yes, it does look like he's gotten quite a lot of damage from the shunt just now. Although, Bernie, I would keep my eye on the top cars of this grid, because they've yet to take the tires, and I think we'll be interested to see how if they're able to maintain their pace with considering the disparity in the tires.
Exactly right, and we've got to keep an eye on Matt Clowett, Shannon Mason. They're the first on the green tyres. We'll see what they can do as we're under green here. Lap 18 ticked off. Once again, Jason Martin getting a good run there. Jake Blackhall, he was a bit slow, but the 19 James Zeitz, he went straight to the inside there and is challenging for third. But further back, we already have Daniel Vassell on the inside of the 117. And that's Darren Bond. He makes that move stick.
Yes, the 18 car now on the outside of the 112 as they head into turns 1 and 2. Car 112 having a look at the inside. Nope, doesn't quite make it.
And we're getting a few angles here of Matt Clowett in action. 3 wide right behind him, though. 14 on the inside, 55 in the middle there, threading the needle. And yeah, and it's looking good. So that was
looking good. It is, of course. Iowa circuit like that. It's, of course, this track is made for wide racing. 3 wide, 4 wide. It just goes.
Yeah, you can see now the 14. He's coming. That's James Foster on the inside, trying to make a move stick on Norman Clark, and you can just see that high line working so much better. The 77, that's Darren O'Brien behind them, but now the 14 looks like he's going to make that move. What's Norman going to do? Can he hold it on the outside? 2 wide once more as they come through lap 22 of 100 here at Iowa.
It's the 14. Oops, no, he just, I think the number 4 has just taken the advantage, of course, although the number 14, he now takes the advantage there entering turn 1.
You can see that high line is just working so well, isn't it? And of course, Norman, he's the father of Roger Clark here, Weehan, and it's Norman that got Roger into this form of racing. Father and son team, they absolutely love their NASCAR racing, and you can just see the experience here as Norman's now making a move on the 117 on the inside. But meanwhile, up the front, folks, we have Jason Martin checking out on Jake Blackhall in second. James Zeitz, he's defending from Matt Clowett. Then we've got Eddie Foster there, Edward Foster in the RRTV truck, and he's defending from Shannon Mason in 6th position. Then, of course, the actions are plenty where we were down here with the 14 James Foster having a look. Now the 77 having an undercut there. Oh, there's contact. The 14's around.
Oh, and the caution is out again for the 3rd time in 25 laps.
Yeah, and that was brought out when the 14 got turned around, and we'll go back and have a look at that replay now, and we'll just see who it was that turned him here.
Man, it's just so tight down there. 14, of course, stuck in the middle of 17 and 19.
Yeah, so it was a 77, did the undercut, but he just slid up into the 14. The 88 also got tagged, but kept it straight. But the 77s turned the 14. That's Darren O'Brien turning James Foster. So the front guys have to come in now. I would say 27 laps. These tyres must be worn out, and here they come, folks. Jason Martin, Jake Blackhall, James Zeitz. Let's keep an eye on these guys, see how their pit crew works for them. Edward Foster's also coming in for the first time. So is Daniel Vassell and Darren Bond. So the race for pit road, Weehan, is starting.
Of course, and it looks as exciting as ever. All the cars at the same speed as they one by one they turn into their pit stalls.
Yes, I can see him now coming in. Jason Martin, Jake Blackhall, the 19. Keep an eye on him. That's James Zeitz. You can see the pit crew now throwing on the tyres. Who's going to come out first? That's a question. Jason should have the advantage. He doesn't have far to run, but here comes a 19, and it looks like Jake Blackhall might have been pushed down to third there. And the 21, though, as I was saying, he got out. We'll just see what happened with Jake here in the 19. But the 19... what's he doing? He's going very, very slowly. That's what he's doing.
Well, it does look like he might have had a penalty from... That's why he's slowing down.
It looks like it, doesn't it? He's has he been caught speeding on pit road? Or no, he's going around. He's just going very, very slowly. And... all the field's going to back up around him, no doubt.
Yes, certainly. I think he might have just made a small violation there, sending him back to the end of the grid.
The end of the longest line. We can see the 41 also down on the apron as well, slowing, trying to get a number. That's Matt Stratford. So what's going on with Matt Stratford now? He's don't tell me he's been in trouble on pit road as well. Looks like he has. Looks like he's letting the field go through. And a bit of confusion going on out here tonight as far as potential pit road violations here.
Yes, I think because these cars, they do not have a pit speed limiter, so sometimes it's just easy to overshoot, and being more unfortunate, you'll get a penalty.
Yeah, it's a real art, isn't it? Because most drivers are used to hitting that pit limiter to keep them out of trouble, but of course in NASCAR they don't have that, as you've said. From what I understand, they get, I could be wrong here folks, so correct me, pit entry speed inside the cone, and then don't they do it on an average speed between two marks?
Well, the thing is, they do calculate by the time spent underneath the speed limit there to decide if you've made an infraction or not.
So the guys that stayed out, Danny G in the 81, he's going to take the lead of the restart here. First time tonight we had a different leader. Then we've got the 66 Daniel Stevens. He's going to be starting out a second. I'm just trying to work out where that 13 should be. No, that's Danny G. So who are we missing up here? The 81, we're waiting for a wave by. That's Steve Hoppett. He's down 3 laps now. He gets the wave around, and the lucky dog, so he will get one of those laps back, but a lot of work for him to do. The other one, Darren McKenzie, down 6 laps at the moment, and Daniel Trim, he is still in pit road, so I think that truck's not going to be going anywhere for the rest of the night. So we've got Danny G on the high side, then Danny G low side, Daniel Stevens high side, second row, Phil Otto on the high side, Norman Clark on the low side, and then we've got Jake Blackhall in 5th with Jason Martin 6th. Now we'll see what Jake can do. He's had a bit of trouble getting it up to speed tonight, but we'll see. Now we can see Danny G's backing him up. Now he goes on green. and a clean start. Jake Blackwell got a better start there, and he's working already on Phil Otto, but now he goes to the low line and moves up the position.
Of course, sorry, I can't see.
That's alright.
There's too many cars, but
No, we're having a look here. The 53, 3 wide there. The 6 up into the wall, loses momentum. And that's Matt Clowett there moving backwards. And I tell you what, once you have a bit of a scrape and these lose momentum, you're generally a sitting duck.
sure, because especially at this track, you have to rely on the pace to carry yourself through. Of course, the 6 caution is out again.
Yep.
My goodness, how many has there been?
There's been, this is our third, I think, caution for tonight. And tell you what, when it came out, we had 3 wide up front. Jason Martin, Daniel Stevens, I call him Danny G because I cannot pronounce his surname. Grishkovich, I think it is.
Yeah, Daniel Grishkovich.
There you go. So it looks like Daniel Stevens has brought out the safety car, the pace car, sorry, this time through. Let's have a look, and you can see Daniel Stevens there. He's been in a bit of trouble here tonight. Let's see what's going to happen this time. So he's 3 wide there, number 1, 13 on the upside. No, they did not bring out the pace car. Okay, let's go further down. Yeah, Daniel Stevens definitely brought out the pace car, but I didn't see anything going on with the 66 there that would have triggered that caution.
No, I can't see either.
Yeah, so we're just waiting for the field to sort them out. Again, we're about 1/3 of the distance here. Now, based on the amount of pace cars we've seen tonight, I'm just counting them now, I think we're up to our 4th.
That is quite a lot of pace cars that's come up.
Yeah, three pace cars tonight. So based on that, we could be up for around about 9 or 10 pace cars here tonight, folks. We'll see how they go, but quite a few drivers are struggling with either the conditions or the bumpiness or both of this circuit tonight. They're finding it a little bit challenging.
Of course, challenging this track is, of course, because I think yes, of course, like you said, it's difficult to drive, but remember, this track is wide. You're able to do 3 wide, 4 wide racing, and I think we will just have to wait even more to see that come out.
Yeah, well, we're starting to see that up the front there. We had 3 wide. There was Daniel Grishkovich and Daniel Stevens and Jason Martin were 3 wide. Further back, there was also 3 wide with the 66, and I'm not sure what happened there to bring that safety car out, but we're starting to see that action emerge now, and it'll be interesting to see how this track changes as it starts to rubber up. Let's have a look at our blimp, and at the moment we can't see it starting to rubber up, but we can see Jason Martin there going right down onto the apron and then back up again.
A playful move by him there. I think he's just getting that bit of a tire temperature.
Yeah, so you can see the track rubbering up mid to high line at the moment through the corners, and then of course coming down into the final corner, it looks like it's going from mid to low line as they take to the apex there. So the pace car lights are out, folks, so we'll have Danny G on the inside, then we've got Daniel Stevens on the outside in the 66 West End Mazda entry, and Jason Martin restarting the second row. Jake Blackhall on the high side this time. Let's see how he goes there. He had a good start last time. We'll see if he can back it up. And of course, Jake Blackhall, this is where he started his iRacing career, was in the NASCAR, so he absolutely loves this stuff. And of course, he's also known these days for his road racing abilities as well. But here we go. We are going to get the restart, and Danny G, for the second time tonight, will be leading the field. What's he going to do? Is he going to back it up? He's waiting now. He goes on the green now. He's got a few of them napping up the back there. You can see the 14 getting very high. It's a good start there by Danny G. Now, Jason Martin, the favourite for tonight. He is up to second. Big crash up the back. That was a 6, Matt Clowett. Matt Clowett was involved in that one. And I'm just trying to get the other one. Steve Williams.
As you can see here.
Sorry, mate, we'll jump back and have a look at this replay.
It does look like 5 or 6 cars being taken out in that crash.
Yeah, it started the 98. Got loose, and Matt Clowett got into the back of him, and then the 444 also got in. The number 1, that's Phil Otto involved. The 19 involved as well. One of the lucky runners there was the 67 who stayed out of danger there, and that was Jason Fewens. Even on slow-mo it happens too quick. So you can see the guys now coming back onto pit road, and the car that got loose, which started that, was Stephen Williams in the 98. Got loose, and then Matt Clowett got into the side of him, and then craziness ensued.
Of course, this goes to show oval NASCAR racing is crazy and it's exciting.
Oh, it's extremely exciting, that's for sure. You can see the number 1 also, that's Otto. He was looking good earlier tonight. He's now down a lap, out of fast repairs, and he's going to be sitting there for quite a while, as we can see the pit crew trying to bang out those panels.
This car does not look good, Bernie. It really doesn't.
No, it's had more hits than Elvis. So looking at our top 10, folks, so we've got Jason Martin at the moment back into the lead. Daniel Stevens will start out a second. Jake Blackhall third. Fourth, Norman Clark. Daniel Vassell fifth. Edward Foster sixth. Darren O'Brien 7th, Thomas Hinz 8th, 9th, Dave Douglas, and rounding out your top 10 is Roger Clark. See once again Jason just going right down onto the apron down there. I'm not sure why he's doing that, but he did that last time as well. We're just waiting for the lucky dog, and that's going to go to the 41 by the looks of it, and that's Matt Stratford, down 3 laps. So I said keep an eye on him tonight. He's the biggest mover, but he's moving the wrong way, and he's had a pretty unlucky run, one could say, tonight. The others
seem to be an unlucky run for him.
Yeah, he's been in a bit of strife out there, and I think that started, the pit lane penalty we saw before the last restart. So this is a fourth pace car. Sorry, folks. I'm picking myself up now tonight, but I tell you what, I said at the start of this broadcast we don't want to be here in 2 hours 20, but we need to get these guys into a bit of a consistent run here, because I think we only got about 3 laps that time by before the pace car came out again. Now, my telemetry has to be playing up because according to my telemetry, Norman Clark has not come to the pits yet, and that he can't have run 43 laps on those tyres, surely.
Well, maybe some black magic. I'm not too sure. I'm not able to check.
Well, he's the only car out there that has not, according to my telemetry, made it to pit road yet, but I'm pretty sure he would be. He would have by now. We can also see Matt Clowett there getting that car hammered out, and the car behind him. I'm trying to get the number, and it looks like Matt Clowett. Matt Clowett, it looks like, might have just got out of that car and parked it. So that'll be our first retirement tonight, folks. The number 6 is out, and Matt Clowett, he can go and have an early night after he can go and crack a Budweiser or whatever they do as the pace car comes in. Jason Martin will have control. As always, he goes as soon as he can, and he's got the jump on Daniel Stevens, second. Third, Jake Blackhole working the inside line, and then we've got Norman Clark up there in fourth, and Daniel Vassell.
And so we are on to our 6th caution tonight.
6th caution. We got through 2 corners that time.
Oh man.
It was Craig Lawless this time. Let's jump back and have a look. So let's have a look at what happened on this restart. Oh, he got turned around. That's what happened to him. Big time into the wall there. We'll jump back and have another look at that and see if we can slow it down and work out exactly who turned him.
I think that's just a case of drivers being a bit too ambitious. I think what might have just happened is Nick turning down and getting spun.
Yeah, we're having a look now. It's a 444 we want to keep an eye on here. And who is that? I'm trying to get a number. He came down from the high line, the 192. I'll get you a name in a minute, but big time has Craig Lawless been served, and he's gone in the wall. And I tell you what, that is a scary accident if that was real life, because hitting the wall at that angle can be treacherous. So who was the 192? Nick Craddock. Nick Craddock came down on him and turned him, so that brings out our 6th yellow here tonight, folks, and Nick's car, it's starting to look a little bit beat up. You can see also the 75 slowing on the high side. That's Darren McKenzie.
Bernie, remember you said we'll reach around 10 cautions this race? I think we're well on our way to that.
Well, we're almost half distance here and we're up to 6th now. Yeah, I don't know. We could go anywhere from 10 cautions tonight up to 50 if they continue doing what they're doing. But yeah, what can you say? Rubbin's racing, I guess.
Certainly, rubbing is racing.
See, I'm just a man full of cliches tonight, but we'll see how we go. According to my telemetry, though, the number 4 is doing some sort of voodoo because he is still staying out, and I can't imagine that car has not pitted yet because we're reaching half distance here.
Well, I think it might be a case of excellent tyre management by that car.
Yeah, well, Norman Clark loves his racing, NASCAR, as we were saying, and he pretty much lives it, and he really knows his stuff. So we'll keep an eye on him tonight, I think.
Yeah, let's do it. Of course, he's now holding on to 4th position.
The other guy to keep an eye on tonight, I think, not Weehan Chan. Weehan is Daniel Vassell. We can see him in the picture at the moment, starting on the low line there. He's been consistently performing quite well and making his way to the front of this field tonight. Yeah, George. George says these cautions are getting ridiculous. Can we get a 10-lap green run, please? Dang it. And yeah, mate, I'll agree with you. We need to get a 10 run. We need to get these guys getting into a bit of rhythm so we can get to that awesome side-by-side action that we love to watch when it comes to this style of racing.
Certainly, of course. I think the drivers who would favour more long runs, I think they aren't really. This wouldn't be for them tonight because caution after caution, I think that they're not able to sort of be able to do those long green runs.
Yeah, and I'm just reading the chat channel. I won't say what you said in there, mate, but you shouldn't have to wait too long. The pace car should be out in about 1 corner's time. Then you can have your pit stop.
Nah, I'll just wait it out.
Yeah, dearie me. Alright, so Jason Martin on the low line, Daniel Stevens beside him. Keep an eye on Jake Blackhall though. He's going to go as soon as Jason puts a foot down, and Jason will go early because he has every single time here tonight. Well, he's gone as soon as it's going green, and I reckon Jake is going to try and follow him and push Daniel Stevens out. So here we go, restart here. Keep an eye on Jake Blackhall as he doesn't get as good a start now. He goes on the inside of the 66, Daniel Stevens. Daniel Stevens on the midline there holding his own, but look at Daniel Vassell. He's on the inside of Norman Clark here and making that move. Oh, Daniel Vassell gets it all crossed up into the wall, and that
Caution is out.
Yeah, that was Daniel Vassell there getting it all loose.
Alright, Bernie, I shall take my pit stop myself.
Okay, off you go. You're not going to miss too much, I don't think. But let's have a look at exactly what's happened to Daniel here. Just looks like he got loose. I guess the tyres are cold. It's a very cold night out there tonight, folks. 22 degrees Celsius. And we'll just have a look at this again. Yeah, he's just put it in and the back end's got loose, and tell you what, Norman was very lucky that he did not get cleaned up as Daniel's car went into the wall, but the 10 did get cleaned up, and that one was a net code which probably saved his neck, and that was Dave Douglas. So we saw Daniel Vassell, his car was so damaged, he got that car towed back to the pits, and as always, he doesn't look like he's going anywhere soon. We'll see if he uses a fast repair after the tow. The other car's in trouble tonight, folks, is Phil Otto. He's down 2 laps from that last incident, and he had to spend a bit of time in the pits getting repaired. Matt Stratford also spent a lot of time in the pits, 3 laps down. The other car's Craig Lawless still in the pits getting repaired. James Zeitz in the 19 also has spent a long time in the pits. Matt Clowett retired. Jason Rees also has been in the pits for an extremely long time, and Daniel Trim, well, he's been in there the longest, and I don't think we're going to see him again tonight.
Does it look so?
Yeah, and I reckon you're right there, George. The number 10, Dave Douglas, I reckon he had the lucky escape tonight, because I reckon that net code saved him, because he went right through Daniel Vassell's 18, and there's absolutely no damage to that car whatsoever. So let's see if I'm going to have to nickname this guy the Magician, I think, because my telemetry has to be wrong. There's no way this car has not pitted tonight, and if it hasn't, he is definitely using some sort of voodoo.
Nope, he doesn't seem to have pitted yet.
We've got 47 remaining. How far do these tyres last? Maybe I'm showing my ignorance here, but I would have thought after 53 laps. But then again, you're under... How many laps have they been under caution for? They do 5 laps per pace car or caution, and we're up to 6. So what, 30 laps under the pace car tonight, around about 20 to 30.
Yeah, that has been a lot. So I think that might be why Roger has yet to change his tires.
I tell you what, Weehan, I love the look of these trucks. I love the paint jobs. I love the way they just sort of, the stance of them. They're just an awesome race truck, I guess you'd call them. You can't call them a car because they're not a car.
Sorry, Bernie, I completely missed the last part, but I think our internet is having a bit of issues. Sorry, what were you saying again?
I was saying, mate, that you owe me a 6-pack of beer.
Yeah, probably not legal yet.
No. That's right. I forgot you're a young whippersnapper. But pace car lights are out, and once again, folks, Jason Martin will take the run. This time Jake Blackhall's on the high side though, so we'll see if Daniel Stevens in the 66 can return serve. Also, we'll keep an eye on Edward Foster there in the 53, and we'll see what Norman can do. The only car that has not pitted according to our telemetry, folks. So yeah, looking at the race information, the weather, as I was saying, a very cool night here tonight, folks. 22 degrees Celsius overcast, or 72 degrees Fahrenheit, depending where you come. Pace car is in, and Jason, he goes straight away, and awesome start there. It looks like Jake Blackhall got a good start. The 66 was caught napping, drops down, but then Norman Clark on the high side now getting an awesome run, and making a position on the high side on the 66. Is he going to come down? He loves that high line.
Yes, I think he's just selecting the line that allows him to conserve as much tires as possible, because he's now having the advantage over all other cars below him and behind of him.
And also see the 52, that's Thomas Hinds making that high line work for him. He goes up a position. 66 has dropped about 3 now. Edward Foster in the 53, he's coming through on the high line. Looks like that is the line you want. As there's contact, he's into the wall. That's Edwards into the wall, and has he continued? He has, but he's lost a lot of momentum, and the 13 has been checked up.
Yes, just a small contact there, and he's lost that much positions.
You can see Danny G back here in 11th on the high line in the 13 entry there, driving a Silverado tonight, having a look on the inside of Edward Foster now, and we'll see what it can do. That just doesn't look like that low line's working for him at the moment.
On the 13, he squeezes into the front of the 55. That bold move by him, and that allows him to. Allows him to. Oh, caution again. 77.
So it was a 77, Darren O'Brien. We also saw not Taz Douglas, the number 10. Also get flipped up, and that is Dave Douglas, that had a high view of the crowd there. So let's jump back and let's have a look at how this happened on the West End Mazda replay. So it all started with the 77 snapping loose and going to the high side. Dave Douglas nowhere to go, nor did the 55. Edward Foster also involved in that. But the 77, yeah, quite a bit of carnage out there.
Yeah, that car being launched up the air.
So the 117 was also involved in that, folks, and that was, get me a number, Darren Bond. Lots of panel damage on that car. Of course, Dave Douglas, huge amount of damage on his. You can just see all the tyres rubbing, if not the motors blowing, and he'll come back in to get that car serviced. and it's starting to take its toll, folks. We had 29 starters here tonight. We've had one retirement. Only 16 cars out of the 29 remain on the lead lap.
Yeah, quite a crazy race that's been unfolding today, of course. Only about half of the field, or rather slightly more than half of the field on the lead lap.
Yeah, and I'm having a look for Norman Clark, because would you believe it, folks, he has brought that car into pit road. He's now coming out, so that's one stop to him. The rest of the cars here tonight have stopped about 3 or 4 times, some of them taking advantage of just about every single caution we've had tonight. And yeah, but at the moment we've got craziness, because Danny G is leading now. We can see the one, Phil Otto, he gets the lucky dog, and he will come back onto the lead lap as he just got the wave by. The other car we're seeing up the front as well, because they didn't stop, is Shane Witt in the 56. We saw him in trouble earlier tonight, Weehan, and he's now starting out a second on this restart. We can see Matt Stratford in the 41. He is still 3 laps down, and going by what's going on, he may get that lap back if we have another yellow flag, safety car, pace car, caution.
Lucky dog.
Lucky dog. Yes, I've seen some pretty big accidents out here tonight, folks. Quite a lot of drivers are in trouble. Daniel Vassell, one of the later ones, he's back out there, but he is now 2 laps down. He was looking really, really good up until that accident he got involved in, and of course he spent a long time in the pits. The other one, Edward Foster, is also now down 2 laps, and he's stationary on pit road as he waits for the rest of the field to go by. You can also see the 19 in trouble. That's James Zeitz, and he's just limping out of the pits as well. And in the background we can see Darren McKenzie. He's down 3 laps.
If the car of the 19 looks quite a bit better than the front end there.
Yeah, it certainly does. It's stoved in quite a bit, isn't it? And that's not going to help his turn in too much. But I guess this is what's going to happen now. They only get 1 fast repair. That would have gone very early in the race for quite a few of these drivers, as we're waiting for a restart. 35 laps to go here, folks. Round 3 at Iowa.
So which caution are we at again? I think, what is it, our 8th or 9th?
8th. I think we're up to our 8th at the moment. It's getting a bit like, guess how many jelly beans are in this jar? Sort of, if you know what I mean.
Nothing illegal.
See there Shane Witt looking, and we're waiting now for the restart here. Danny G will have control, and he goes on green. The 56 up high. He has been caught napping this time, and Jason has made the move on the inside of him. That's allowed Jason Fewens. And now Jason Fewens at 67, looking a bit loose, going to the high side. 52, Thomas Innes comes in. They rub paint. 67, sitting duck at the moment. What's happening here? 14 coming on the inside now. Here comes the magician, Norman Clark, moving back up into 7th position on the low side. He's got fresh tyres, so I'd expect him to be moving forward. As we see now, the 55 is just coming back on track after getting that car repaired.
Yes, number 67 of Jason Fewens. I think he's just lost quite a few positions there.
Yeah, he's carrying a lot of damage on that car, as we can see, and having a look on the outside there of Jason's car. You can see Roger Clark now starting to work on him, see what sort of a run he gets, and he's going very high on the high side. So far our cameraman got hung out to dry, but Jason's going on that inside line, and we found that to be one of the slower lines here tonight. As we see further back now, Stevens is trying to get past Roger Clark here for 10th.
Yes, and I think I'm hearing some more crashes going on in the background there.
Well, this pace car has not come out. We're still racing here, folks. We've had 2 laps and I'm getting exhausted with the pace of this. But 21 leading the 97 Jake Blackall at the moment. Let's get to the wide view and see this gap, because it's huge. Back to Daniel, and he's bringing Thomas Hinds along. Thomas, remember, he started at the back of the field tonight. He came in very late, did not manage to qualify, so he has moved up to 4th, and then James Foster in the 14th, right behind him. Dave Douglas also on the lead lap, and he's used his fast repair to keep him there, and he's holding out Shane Witt at the moment in 6th and 7th. Looking further back, their cars are spread out. It's right back here to the 41.55, and they're going 3 wide, 2 wide, coming off turn 4. See Matt now in 41, he's got the 55 overlapping. Remember, the 41's down a number of laps, and Daniel Vassal's behind him, also down a number of laps.
There's quite a disparity there between the lead and the drivers behind. But of course, the 41 car making quite a good he actually just lost his position through the 18 underneath him.
We're riding on the side camera here of Thomas Hinds. You can see him working that low line, but Daniel Grichevich working the high line, and you can see he's getting a far better run off the corner. What's Thomas going to do here? He's still searching that low line. He's getting good mid-corner speed and a better run this time as he closes up on the back of Danny G.
Of course, the 52 closing up, and he takes the inside there. Well, not really getting it there.
Yeah, he's trying, isn't he? He's trying to make it work, and at the moment he's just not getting enough momentum. You can see now once again closing up, trying to get the work. Nowhere to go there. Tucks back in. Let's see if he tries again this time. He's looking, but he just does not have the pace.
Certainly, I think he's able to close it up, but he just can't make it when the moment is crucial. Of course, he's now past the start-finish line again into turn 1. Does he? No, I think it's just spread out a bit from 30. No, he's actually now close to it. He takes the inside, back to the backstretch.
Yeah, we can see now Dave Douglas working on the inside here of James Foster in the 14, as they're both going 2 wide now. Ahead of them we can still see that battle, 13 to 52 Thomas Hinds. This is bringing Foster into the fight as well, and of course it's bringing Douglas in as we're under caution once again here tonight, and I think that's our 9th caution for this evening, folks. Probably one of the longest runs we've had for a while.
Yeah, it's been quite a long run today, but of course we've seen quite a lot of action up to this point.
Have a look at the West End Mazda replay. I think it might have been Riley Curtis here coming into the pits. Let's go back further and see if he's come to grief, which has brought out the yellow. He was running next to Daniel Vassal there. Just having a look at this replay to see, no, he's just come in off into pit road, so that shouldn't have brought out the yellow. Came out on Dave Douglas, but Dave definitely didn't have an issue out there because we were following him when the yellow was called. Let's go to Blimp and see if we can find any issues out here. Oh, there we go. We picked him up. That's Darren McKenzie there in the 75. Got it all loose.
This rear end getting a bit loose as he goes into the inside of the corner.
Yeah, and the number four got loose before, and that was Norman Clark into the inside wall, and then Darren McKenzie spun, and I thought he was going to spin it into the pits then. But yeah, I'd say that came out originally because of Norman Clark would have brought that pace car out. But Norman kept it off the wall. He's down there in 13th now, so a lucky escape for him.
Of course, Norman currently sitting in 14th, quite a drop from his previous position of 4th.
Yeah, so the 93, they will get the wave around, and that is Riley Curtis. So he will come back onto the lead lap once he gets that wave around. You can see Daniel Vassell, what's he doing? He thinks he's going to get it, but he tucks back in again.
Yeah, we just heard a viewer there saying 9 cautions. Wow, that has to be one of the craziest races ever.
Yeah, a few cautions here tonight. Maybe I'm going to have to start running a little side bet next round. We're going to work out if we can give a prize to the viewer that gets guesses the closest amount of cautions. Now that prize, I don't know what that'll be. I guess you get bragging rights.
Yep, I think bragging rights will be the best.
So we're still waiting to see the 93 get the wave around. The 14, that's James Foster. Now, from what I understand, that is the younger and better version of Edward Foster, who's back in 20th. So, aka his little brother, whipping his butt once again tonight.
Whipping? No, please.
But no, the 14's looking strong, that DeWalt entry, and it's the first time we'll see him. He's led 3 laps tonight. If we look at our statistics, folks, while we're under here, under caution, basically 3 laps to James Foster, 17 to Danny G, and 61 laps have gone to Jason Martin, as we now see the wave around, and that's going to bring, who was that, back onto the lead lap. I'm not sure who that was. So, pace car will come in. James Foster, he will have the start of this. I think this is the first restart he's had control of the field, so it'll be interesting to see what he does. We did see last round some of them chose to back the field up, where others chose to go on green. We know Jason Martin loves that. Let's see what happens this time through with James Foster. He's got Dave Douglas on the outside, so he's going to want to make this start work. Now he goes straight on green. Dave Douglas goes with him. We can see Roger Clark on the high line trying to make it 3 wide as they come into turn 1.
There's of course a great start there by James as they enter the backstretch. A lot of 2 wide action going on.
You can see the 66, that is Daniel Stevens trying to make it work. Look at Jake Blackhall. He's coming on the inside 4 wide as we come through the front down to 3 wide. Jake's making this work. He's hanging it in there. He's going to make this through. Awesome driving there by Jake Blackwell in the 97, and he storms up through the field up into 3rd position.
And that's a crazy battle there, of course. 97 getting the best out of the 4.
Yeah, Thomas Hinzer saw that and he's going, oh, well, if Jake can do it, I can do it. He makes it 3 wide, and it looks like all of a sudden that inside line is working really well. We saw earlier tonight it was the high line that was working, but somehow these guys are making it work down there now.
Certainly, of course, the tide probably changing downwards towards the inside line as the number 52 he gets the advantage there.
Yeah, Thomas Hinds is now got Danny G coming up on the inside. Let's see if that will work for Danny G. And the 98, Stephen Williams, also trying to get that pass to work. Having a look at the back of Daniel's car here, and you can see the 117 closing in, and yeah, he's getting a good run too.
Well, it looks like we have a truck slowing down on the outside.
Yeah, that was Dave Douglas. Let's have a look at what's happened to him. He's dropped down a number of positions here. He hasn't brought out the caution, but he's sort of been caught up high, and he's still trying to get that momentum.
Yeah, it does look like he's twitching and then going upwards and going against the wall.
I tell you what, with 12 laps to go, folks, Jake Blackhall is in the lead now. He's got Jason Martin trying to chase him down. Can Jake Blackhall be undefeated 3 rounds in a row? That is the question. Or is Jason Martin going to ruin the party as Jake goes into the wall, and he's had to get out of it, and that's allowed Jason Martin back into the lead.
Of course, and an unfortunate move there by the 97 as Jason now has the lead ahead of Jake.
Riding now with Jake Blackhall in the 97 as we come up onto the back straight here. Down to 10 laps remaining of this race, folks. Now he's having a look on the inside. He has seemed to make that work, but not this time through.
Because this does look to be a fight to the finish, although the gap between the 97 as well as the 21 is starting to space out a bit.
Yeah, you can see Danny G on the inside of Thomas Hinds here, trying to make it work. It doesn't. 117 nearly gets up into the back of the 13, and he had to take evasive action, but he's made that move. And now the 98, what's Stephen Williams going to do? But 9 laps remaining here, folks. Jake Blackhall is still trying to chase down Jason Martin, but that lead is almost out to 1 second now. But they've left third place James Foster 2.5 seconds down. He's now coming under attack from the 66.
Was coming under crazy attack from the cost from 66 as he takes. No, he doesn't take the inside. Goes inside for a drop. Sorry, look. From this perspective, it really looks like it goes in, but yeah.
Sorry, I'm laughing with you.
Nah, the camera angle, man.
Oh, okay. Now the 52, Thomas Hinds having a look on the 66. Daniel Stevens, they rub paint. Daniel gives him a lot of room, goes up high. 6 laps remaining. Can we get to the end of this race without another caution? Question is though, if we do get a caution, we're going to finish under yellow. But the 66 now having a look on the 14th. This is for the last step of the podium as they go too wide into turn 4 here at Iowa and onto the front straight. Meanwhile, Jake Blackhall, he has dropped a massive 2.1 seconds behind Jason Martin. So Jason Martin has checked out. So the racing here is on the 66 and the 14 for that last step of the podium. And the 14 now having a look on the inside. Can he get this position back?
Of course, the 14 and the 66 looking tight for a battle, and Thomas, of course, coming in behind them to give them a lot more pressure.
4 laps remaining here tonight, folks, and it's looking like Jason Martin may finish the winning streak here of Jake Blackhall as that gap is stretching. But the 66 now looks like he's snatched the final step of this podium. James Foster now coming under pressure from Thomas Hinds in the GoPro truck.
Of course, Thomas now going ever so close to James Foster, and no, heck, I think it's just gone wide.
So having a look at the nose cam at Thomas Hinds now as he closes in on the DeWalt entry. 2 laps remaining here at Iowa. Are we going to get to the finish without another yellow? I think we had 9 yellows tonight. But at the moment we can see Thomas and James still going at it, and we'll be on to the white flag very shortly. Then we'll jump up to our leader. You can see at the moment Jake Blackhall is comfortably in second, but Jason Martin, let's have a look at this gap from the blimp as he's on the last lap. You can just see that gap, it is massive. As we can see, Daniel is just lapping the 81. But let's go down to Jason Martin, who just took the checkered flag. So well done to Jason Martin. Takes out round 3 at Iowa. Jake Blackhall comes home in second, followed by Daniel Stevens third. James Foster had to settle there for 4th with Thomas Hinds in 5th. Darren Bond, he comes across in 6th, and Danny G 7th.
Of course, a crazy battle there going on from 3rd to 5th there.
Yeah, the number 10 we can see on screen at the moment, folks. That's the last car on the lead lap. 13 cars on the lead lap. And I'll tell you what, I wish the blimp was higher so we could enjoy all these fireworks. I just don't think we can see them, as we see Jason Martin celebrating on the start-finish line here tonight. And it was a well-earned win, wasn't it?
Of course, an excellent win there. Of course, he's led for the most part of this race, and of course he has the pace. He's won it.
And we get to see fireworks. Yay!
Yep, night track. Well, it has been a crazy race, hasn't it been, buddy? What, 9 or 10 cautions, a lot of contact, a lot of close battle, 4 wide even.
Yeah, we had 4 wide there a bit, didn't we? And we can see him trying to work out who that is smoking them up in there. Darren Lord, I think. No, it wasn't Darren Lord. But, yeah, Norman Clark there. He was looking strong, wasn't he? And he went over half the race on one set of tyres, because over half the race was probably under yellow anyway. If we look at how many, let's add this up here, Weehan, we had 9 cautions, about 5 laps per caution. So what did that make it? About 45 laps
45, yeah.
under caution out of the 100 here tonight. So a lot of action there, folks, tonight. It was good that we did get treated to some good action towards the end, some great racing, but it took them a while to get there, didn't it, tonight, Weehan?
Yes, it did take him quite. It did take quite. Sorry, what was it that you said? I think my internet is giving me a lot of grief now.
Yeah, we've got our race winner, Jason Martin, in the green room. Let's bring him in and have a chat. Hi, Jason. Can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you.
Fantastic, mate. Awesome racing there. I tell you what, though, we were treated well. We had a lot of cautions tonight earlier on. How frustrating was that for you as a driver to try to find some sort of rhythm?
That was extremely frustrating. I didn't think we were ever going to get to do some racing.
Yeah, what do you think? We were having a look at it. We weren't sure if it's a combination of the rough road here at Iowa, the bumpiness, and the cold temperatures that tended to make these cars loose. Did you find that was the case, or do you think there was other reasons why we saw those cautions?
No, the setup's really pretty tight, so I think it was just impatience.
Yeah. I tell you what, though, on that final restart, you pretty much checked out. Jake tried to go with you, and he came up through the field, but I tell you what, you stretched that lead 2.6 seconds at the end, and your fastest lap tonight, 23.184. So, yeah, well done. That's an awesome run.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I like these short tracks.
Yeah, 72 laps you led, so you're getting all the statistics there tonight, that's for sure. But I'm going to hand you over to Weehan Chan and see if he's got any more questions for you, and then we'll go to your sponsors.
Sure. Hey, Jason. Of course, congratulations on your race today. Of course, leading more than half of the race from start to finish and finishing first, Jason. Hey, please tell us, how did your race go? Of course, I mean, with a lot of cautions coming in between intermittently throughout your lead. How did it feel to you in terms of your pace and things like that?
Yeah, I had to make sure I took it real easy on the restarts with all the lap traffic and the slower cars, so I just had to be very careful I didn't get wrecked again, and then after that, I was pretty comfortable.
Certainly comfortable you were. And, well, I mean, your pace has been excellent all race long. Especially your restarts, I think with Bernie and I, we can all agree on this. Once the pace car, Bernie, pace car, right?
It's pace car.
Yeah, once the pace car went in, you just went straight on. Great job. Of course, I'd like to hand you back to Bernie. I'm not too sure what else to ask. Yeah, great job today.
Yeah, just looking at the qualifying, I think you came in as the favourite tonight, Jason, so well done. You broke the winning streak of Jake Blackhall there, and you must be very proud of the performance you put out there tonight.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I'm just happy to finally get through a race without getting wrecked.
Yeah, it sort of happens in this style of racing, doesn't it? But anyway, mate, let's give a shout out to your sponsors, and then we'll bring the other guys up for a chat.
I'd just like to thank RRTV for the broadcast and ANZCAR for the series, and hopefully we can have some better races from now on. Yeah,
I think I'm not sure where we're going next week, but we'll see how we go. We had a big field here tonight, 29. With a few retirements. But anyway, Jason, thanks for popping up, mate. Well done taking out round 3 here tonight. I'll let you go and celebrate with your team. So, folks, that was Jason Martin, our race winner. The next person we're going to bring up is Jake Blackhall, and we'll have a chat with him. Did you want to start, Weehan?
Yeah, sure.
It's alright, I'll fix it. There you go, you can talk now.
Right. Hi, Jake, good evening. Of course, great job by yourself today. Of course, finishing second. It's a great performance so far. I mean, of course, towards the end of the race, we might have seen you sort of pulling backwards away from Jason. Could you tell us more about what happened?
Yeah, so it was a good race, and I knew I didn't have the pace of Jason throughout, and it was just one of those things where I knew I was going to have to finish second. But got out in front, and then I decided to look through turn 1 and realised I had nearly no fuel in the tank, so I had to sort of fuel save. That's why I hit the fence coming off the turn 2. I was too busy looking at fuel numbers and then realised I wasn't going to make it. So next time, put fuel in it if you think you're not going to be safe, because I definitely wasn't, so I had to fuel save at the end.
Does sound like quite a mistake that did cost you quite a bit. But of course, I mean, you finished second. We do think that had been a great performance by you so far today. Bernie, would you like to?
Yeah, I was wondering what happened there, Jake, because you stormed up pretty much through the field to get up to second there, and then after that restart, it looked like Jason just ran away with it. But that does explain a lot. If you're fuel saving, of course, you were probably then driving to the gap of the driver behind you.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. Driving to that gap behind me, it was just sort of managing those final couple of laps. It would have been close. Like if I was to run flat out, I think I may have just run out coming out at maybe the turn 2. So it would have been half a lap that I would have run out, and I could have coasted it. But it was just there was no point. I was just gonna let him go and then just try and see if I can fuel manage that, and just managed to do so at the end. I think I came home with about 0.5 in the tank, so it would have got me another lap. Just able to save and get as much as I could out of it.
Yeah, and it's all about the points really, isn't it? Because you came in, of course, leading, undefeated up until this round. But I tell you what, you get Pass of the Night award, because that pass, when you made it 4 wide in there, stuck it down the inside and got, I think, 2 positions. I nearly fell off my seat at that point in time.
It was an interesting. I didn't actually know it was 4 wide at the time. I heard 2 wide, then I heard 1 wide. I went, oh, all right, we should be all right. So I just threw it down the inside. It was sort of one of those things where I had the speed on the inside and had the grip and was able to use it. That was before I realised I had no fuel. So I could have saved from then on out. Maybe it wasn't needed, but just to try and gain some speed, especially when you have fresher tyres, it's always good to use them at the best part of the start. But yeah, it was an interesting race, especially coming off second and knowing that points are sort of where it's at. And, Bernie is trying to maximise as many points each race and staying out of trouble, and especially in this series. And Jason's had a bit of bad luck to start off his season, but I knew he was going to be fast. So just got to try and stay out of trouble, and we both got to if we want to try and take this way all to the end.
Yeah, it was awesome racing, and I tell you what, that restart, you were the first one that tried that inside line on a restart, and the first time that inside line had really worked all night. But Thomas Hinds was watching you because he tried to replicate what you did the next lap. I think he made a position, but he didn't sort of get those 2 like you did, but he was definitely watching your tactics.
I think a lot of people it's interesting to see that, and it's good a lot of these guys are driving well. And unfortunately we had a lot of safety cars. I didn't catch all of the incidents, but there was a lot of race chatter going on, so I have to look back and see what the go was. But it was good to have some green flag running at the end.
Yeah, it definitely was. The first half of the race was marred with a lot of pace cars, yellow cautions. A lot of them was cars losing their rear end and spinning. We did have some big ones, and or drivers getting into each other. But have a look, see what you think. But of course, Jake, it's always a pleasure talking to you, but we got to let you go in a minute, and of course we've got some sponsors for you to mention tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Bernie, and a massive shout out to Evolution Racing Team, Logitech G, for all their support that they've been able to give me through this year. ANZCAR Racing, Joel Real Timing, GTI Springs, and you guys for putting on the broadcast. It's been a great show. Yeah,
I love calling these the NASCAR. It's just so action packed compared to road racing. It's a really exciting form of racing. So this is like a holiday for me. I'm enjoying it. All right, mate, we'll let you go. Brenton also was watching you tonight, so you might need to go back and talk to him.
Oh, that's all right. I got to jump back in the car. It's Bathurst week, so
yeah, it is.
That's why my focus was not here tonight. It's on Bathurst, so jump back in a V8 Supercar and see what we can do there.
Yeah, and of course that will be on Sunday, won't it? What time does the race kick off on Sunday?
I can't remember. I should know this. Brenton's gonna not be happy with me that I don't know when the race starts, but it's Sunday. I think it's around just after midday.
Midday, yeah. So, folks, that, of course, will be covered on V8s Online, and so definitely tune in Sunday. It's the pinnacle of iRacing in Australia, that event, really, isn't it, Jake? And I'm excited to go and watch it.
I'm excited to get amongst it. Hopefully we can make it past 1 lap.
Yeah, good luck with that. All right, mate, we'll see you. That probably come across wrong. I didn't mean to say good luck with that. You won't. I was meant to say good luck. Anyway, let's go down the list. And the next person we'll have a chat to, who we got in there? We've got Dave Douglas, Daniel, and Dan Stevens. So let's bring... Who's... Dave Douglas, I think, was the next... No, Daniel was the next one. We'll bring Daniel up. You can start the interview. Or did you start this one?
Which Daniel?
This Daniel.
Alright, hey Daniel, of course, congratulations on your race today. Of course, you've led some laps today. Well, of course, you've come home in 8th. So, could you tell us about how your race went today?
Yeah, hey fellas. The race wasn't too bad. I mean, I knew I wasn't going to have the fastest truck to compete up there with those guys, but I thought I did well on the old tyres as well as I could. And I was just happy for a top 10 all day, which is pretty much what I got. So I really can't complain.
Of course, top 10, you did a great job by yourself there. And, Bernie, sorry.
You'll get used to Wehan. He loses his train of thought halfway through. But we're having a look at you tonight, Daniel. You're looking pretty racy out there. Led 17 laps. It looked like you were having a good time in the racing.
Yeah, it was good fun. It's a bit frustrating there for all the yellows, just sort of sitting there putting around, just listening to the guys on the radio. It's a bit of a laugh, but yeah, no, I can't complain with the night, I don't think.
No, it was a good night of racing. We had 9 safety cars, I think, or pace cars, and we counted roughly probably about 45 laps under yellow. So the start of it, of course, we've got 29 car or trucks out here tonight, which is probably one of the biggest turnouts we've had. So that was bound to have some yellows, but as the pace picked up, the racing started to get a lot better, and we were treated to an awesome end to that race. But getting back to you, of course, with your truck, how was it performing on Iowa tonight in these colder conditions?
Honestly, it was horrible. I could not turn the thing. I just tried to run the high line. It's the only way I sort of know around here, and I still couldn't put my foot on the throttle. It just kept washing up into the wall every time. I was even off throttle on half throttle, just coasting around, and the truck just still wouldn't turn. So yeah, that's why I was just happy with the top 10.
Yeah, the few of the drivers were saying the setup was pretty tight, so that sounds like it. But of course, this series is a fixed series, isn't it? So everyone has to deal with the same problem, I guess, with their truck.
Yeah, that's true with the fixed setup, and it could come down to driving style, I guess. Some people drive a bit different than I do on setups, and it works for some people on some tracks, and works for other people on other tracks.
Yeah, fair enough. I just don't know what that was. Something happened outside my my apartment here, folks. Hopefully there's not a murder going on, but anyway, let's continue here.
Not in Canberra.
Yeah, hope not. Anyway, Daniel, I'm going to hand you back over to Weehan. You got any questions, Weehan, or are you still trying to find yourself?
My train of thought really sucks there. So, of course, Daniel, and what I have to say is, of course, a great job by you today, making it in the top 10 and, of course, staying out of trouble.
Yeah, thank you. I think that was the main thing for me too. I pretty much stayed out of trouble.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, Daniel, I hope you don't mind the nickname I've given you, which is Danny G, and the only reason I've given you that nickname is because I cannot pronounce Grzeskovic.
You did pretty well there. I like that.
Yeah, I think you pronounce it Daniel Grzeskovic.
Daniel Grzeskovic. Is that right, Daniel?
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
So would you prefer us to call you Daniel Grzeskovic or Danny G?
I do think Danny G has a bit of a ring to it.
Yeah. We've also given Norman Clark, his new nickname is the Magician.
Staying out on all tyres?
Yeah, for over half the race.
Yeah, I thought so.
So we thought, yeah, we'll call him the Magician because he had some sort of voodoo going on there tonight. But anyway, Daniel, thanks for popping up. Give us a shout out to all your sponsors, mate.
Yeah, no worries, thank you. APCS, Advanced PC and Simulations, I'd like to thank them for hosting our races and getting on board there, and Capital Playing Cards. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, we'll see you next week, Daniel. I'm not sure where we're going. Do you know what track we're on next week?
I believe it's Las Vegas.
Ah, beauty. Okay, well, that'll be good. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I think that'll be a cleaner race on a 1.5 miler. Shouldn't have as many cautions as tonight.
Yeah, because this is quite a short track, isn't it? It's, 800 metres or something, I think it was. Let's have a look.
Yeah, it's not very long.
Yeah, I'll just bring it up. It was 1.43k, so yeah, quite short for this style of racing. But anyway, Daniel, thanks for popping in. We're going to go and grab Dave Douglas for a chat next.
No worries, thank you. And hello, Cynthia, my missus, who's watching.
Hey, Cynthia.
Hello.
So that was Danny G or Danny Grzeskovic. And our next chat will be with Dave Douglas. Dave Douglas, he came in 13th position in the number 10. Hi Dave, thanks for waiting, mate, and congratulations, 13th spot tonight. It looked like in one of those incidents you dodged a bullet, and I'll fix you up and you can answer this in a minute. The net code saved your truck at one point.
Did you guys see that, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did get very lucky there, straight through the middle of him, luckily. But later on in the race, I got caught up with another truck. I think it was Darren O'Brien had a spin. It looked like he was going to go to the inside, but then just came up straight in front of me, nowhere to go.
Yeah, we saw that. You got a very good view of the spectators as you put it up into the safety fence there, and looked like quite a big accident, that's for sure. How did you have your fast repair available to fix the truck, and how damaged was it after that incident?
Yeah, she got pretty high, but yeah, I held on to the fast repair and was able to drive it somehow. But I was just clutching it, just hoping that the engine didn't blow on me enough to get back around to the open pit, and that actually worked out really well because I came in there and then I was on fresh tyres. A lot of guys in front didn't pit, so I made some spots up, I think, after that.
Yeah, because to be quite honest, after I saw that big hit that you had, I didn't think we were going to see you back up where you finished tonight, that's for sure. But it looked like the fast repair definitely served its purpose, and you definitely had a good rebound there, so well done on that.
Yeah, I managed to snag that somehow.
So, yeah, it was a pretty rough night out there, and is that your experience of the race as well?
Yeah, it was very up and down. Obviously starting at a P4, I took an early pit stop under a caution there. I got done speeding on the way exit, so I had to drop all the way to the end of the line, and I worked my way back up to about 10th and sort of hung around there, and that's when obviously that crash happened. But then somehow I ended up in second or third on one of those restarts and was battling with the guys, but they did have fresher tyres at the end there. And then I made the rookie mistake and put it in the fence at turn 1.
Yeah, you're not the only one that put it into the fence tonight. There's quite a few, I think. That a lot of the pit crews are going to be working back late tonight, trying to look at the damage on all these cars.
Yeah, I managed to get it going. I stayed going, but obviously a bit too much damage, and I lost a lot of aero, and the guys were just eating me up, so I just hung around at the back and crossed the line.
Yeah, well, you were classified 13th tonight, and so that's not too bad. So, yeah, if you can finish in the top 20 and snag those points, then I don't know how far the points go back, but no doubt you would have got some points for your efforts tonight.
Yeah, well, that's what I figured it was all about. I think I was good enough for a top 5, but you take it when you can, and if not, you just salvage what you can.
Yeah, exactly right. You've got to take the highs with the lows. Anyway, Dave, before we let you go, do you want to give a shout out to your sponsors?
Yeah, just a couple. I've got Riley Curtis Designs. He does all my paintwork for me, and Ash Media Speedway footage, and then obviously you guys in RTV, and all the guys that put on this great show.
Yeah, fantastic. And I'm trying to work out, we've got Dan Stevens in there. Did he race tonight? You can tell me if he did or not. He's in the green room.
Oh, you got me. I don't know.
All right. Oh, that's Daniel Stevens. Of course he did. He finished 3rd. We should have brought him up way before you. Anyway, Dave, thanks for popping in, mate.
Yeah, no worries, guys. Cheers.
Hi, Daniel. Sorry, mate. Leaving you waiting. I should have brought you up a long time ago. Well done.
Third, mate, that's all right. Good.
Yeah, 3rd position tonight, mate. Awesome race. You were having a good battle there with James Foster and Thomas Hinz in that final run, but you managed to get the better of them and get that car home on the last step of the podium.
Yeah, mate, that last stint there, I was actually hanging onto those tyres like there was nothing left of them, eh? It was a good little battle going on too.
Yeah, it was a really good battle, and I tell you what, after that last caution period, the race changed dramatically, didn't it? It was just like everyone was set for the run home, and all of a sudden that pace got up, and we were treated to some good racing there.
Yeah, it was a pity it wasn't like that right from the beginning, mate. You know, there's a few idiotic moves made tonight that shouldn't have been done, especially at the restarts. You know, but they finally got that out of the way, and we had some good laps under green for a while. Yeah,
we certainly did, but I reckon there was a couple of factors to that. I reckon it was probably the bumpy track, the colder weather, the we're on a short track as well. We had 29 trucks on there, so I think it was inevitable that we're going to have a fair bit of carnage tonight. But overall, I think the racing wasn't too bad. The second half definitely picked up the first half. Well, 45 laps we counted under the pace car tonight.
Or at least it was still under halfway.
Yeah, that's right. But no, we enjoyed it anyway. But I don't think we enjoyed it as much as you did. That's for sure. Towards the end there, and you got it when it counted. But how did, like, we've spoken to some other drivers. They said they were struggling with the push. They said they felt it was really, really tight. Was that the same with you, or did you manage to be able to drive around that setup?
I noticed in the middle of the race, I was actually pushing quite hard into the turns and then getting the power out, and I actually noticed it then. It was pushing, and you probably noticed I dropped back quite a few spots. And then in that last stint, when I was actually braking a lot earlier and then powering out a lot sooner, and I was hanging on, and it was gripping up and going right through, and that's how I actually got past. I think it was James.
Oh, okay, yep. Yeah, we noticed on that last run that the track had changed quite a bit.
Yeah, it had going from the high line down through the middle and then coming out high as well. That was a line to pretty much take.
Okay, yeah, we saw that change quite dramatically. I'm going to hand you over to Daniel. Not Daniel, you are Daniel, to Wehan Chan. It's been a long night, to have a chat, because we've got someone in the chat room that is trying to get into our server for a chat. So I'll just speak to him while Wehan speaks to you.
Okay, mate.
Hey Daniel, of course, congratulations today on your third place finish, and of course you had a great battle with the guys around there. What do I want to ask you? Sorry.
That's all right. It's all good.
Yep. Don't let us down, mate. No pressure.
Let me just look through the stats. Come on, let's talk about your. Right, your fastest lap was a 23.281. How would you think of that?
What lap was that on? Was that probably about mid towards the end?
It was actually around a midpoint, lap 42.
Oh, okay. That must have been just after my I think it was my second stop. I think it was. I think I was actually tailing behind Matt Stratford at that point, and probably got a bit of slipstream going on.
Oh, that sounded good. Of course, it did look like the laps before and after you might have been in the pits. Sorry, look, I really can't brain anything at this stage.
No, it's all good, mate. It's all good. You're doing well.
Thanks.
Yeah, fantastic. And Wehan's, you're pretty jet lagged, I'm guessing, mate, because last week, Daniel, Wehan was in China, and you were tell the viewers who you were interviewing while you were over there, Wehan.
Wow, last week, yeah, I was in China. I also made a day trip to Macau, and I did an interview with some sim racers there, which should be up, Bernie. It should be up by tonight.
Oh, okay, interesting. That's awesome.
Yeah, so he was over there checking out the status of sim racing in China, and then, of course, Daniel, I was very envious. Not only did he get to meet Simfi, the racing team over there, but then he flies back like a jet setter and goes straight to the Singapore Grand Prix. So I don't feel sorry for Wehan one little bit tonight that he's tongue-tied.
Yeah, no, we'll let you off this time, mate.
So,
yeah, and guess what? This Sunday, I'll be off to India.
Oh, jet setter, mate.
Oh, yeah. Take all the chances.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, fantastic. Well, we'll let you go, Daniel, but before we do, give us a shout out to all your sponsors, mate.
Yep, sure thing, mate. A huge shout out goes to Middle Finger Racing, who I race for, WP Concretine, RRTV, obviously you guys, mate, you do a great job. West End Mazda, and MF Race Art, which is our newest sponsor that's come on board, and racingleagues.com and Alien Graphics.
Fantastic. And of course next week we're off to Las Vegas, so that's going to be a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah, completely different type of track, that one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is completely different. It should make for some good racing though. So yeah, anyway, Daniel, thanks for popping in, and hopefully we'll speak to you again next week.
Sure thing, mate. Thanks a lot.
So that was Daniel Stevens, folks, and third on the podium tonight. And I'm just trying to sort out our final interview, folks, and then we'll take you quickly through the final standings of tonight, and we'll go from there. I'm just not very good with this, Weehan. Oh, okay, I see what I've got to do. No, I can't do it. Okay, so we did have an interview tonight with Thomas Hinds, but for technical reasons I can't get the Discord link for you, Thomas, so we might have to work that out through the week, so we can definitely get you up here next week. So I'm sorry about that, mate, but I'll definitely look into it and sort it out for you. But having a look at our final race results tonight, folks, Jason Martin led 72 laps tonight to take the win. He pretty much started from pole, he finished from pole, and took the race. Jake Blackhall was on the run earlier on in the run until he worked out he was going to run out of fuel, and then he had to work to the gap and settle for second, and that breaks his winning streak. He of course won rounds 1 and 2 tonight. Daniel Stevens, he comes home in third, up 9 positions. James Foster up 14 positions to finish in fourth. Fifth was Stephen Williams, and sixth Thomas Hinds up 22 positions, so he must be the biggest mover tonight for sure, and awesome drive by Thomas. Seventh was Darren Bond, followed by Danny G in eighth. Finishing ninth tonight, Shannon Mason, and Darren Lord comes home in 10th. Home in 11th was Norman Clark, followed by Phil Otto. Phil actually got quite a few laps back, Weehan, due to wave bys and cautions, so it got him back on that lead lap towards the end, and he finished on the lead lap, so that was a good effort. Roger Clark, he comes home 13th. Dave Douglas, the last person on the lead lap, finishing 14th and down 10 positions. And then we had Shane Witt in 15th, 16th Jason Fewens, 17th Riley Curtis, 18th Daniel Vassell, 19th was Nick Craddock, and then we had Edward Foster in 20th, down 15 positions. 21st Matt Stratford, then we had Steve Hoppett coming home in 22nd, 23rd Darren McKenzie, and 24th was Darren O'Brien. Down 22 positions. We're in our retirements now, folks. James Zeitz retired, so did Jason Ress, Craig Lawless, Matt Clowett, and Daniel Trim. And we had a few other retirements, but I tell you what, Weehan, first night calling the trucks, mate, what were your thoughts?
Well, I mean, what do I have to say, man? This is absolutely crazy. Of course, with so many action going on, being an oval race, it was a really nice one, despite the cautions.
Yeah, it was crazy, but it was great fun, and I'm sure you find it quite different calling this style of racing than what we're used to, which is, of course, you joined me for the Asia Pacific GTE series, and all of a sudden we're in the trucks, mate. You probably noticed the pace is a bit different.
Oh yeah, it's much different from road racing. I mean, of course, although I do official ovals frequently, commentating it is much different. Of course, you have action here, action there. Every part of the track is action, and that just makes things all the more interesting.
Yeah, it certainly does, and it's definitely fun racing. But anyway, looking ahead, folks, of the RRTV telecast, of course, tomorrow night we get a rest night, and that is because the Australian Online Supercar Championship, they're not racing tomorrow night because, of course, all the V8 supercar teams are focusing on the big one, and that's the Bathurst 1000 on Sunday, brought to you by V8s Online. Go and check out that live telecast on Sunday, and of course it's a good warm-up for the real Bathurst 1000 if you're in Australia, coming to us in a couple of weeks' time. But we will be back on Saturday night for the coverage of the world's fastest gamer, and that's quite interesting racing, that's for sure, and the names are very interesting. We have a few Aussies in the Australian split having a crack at it, but it is definitely dominated by the Europeans, which of course, you know, that's their preferred style of racing, and they're very good at it. And then on Sunday night, the Australasian Super Skips kick off. Not sure how many cars we'll have there, but we will be covering that anyway. So if you watch the Bathurst 1000 and you still want more action, come and join us back on RRTV for the Australasian Super Skips. So Weehan, you're off to India. So any final thoughts of the race before we wrap this up tonight?
Final thoughts, I think, it has been crazy. Has always been crazy. Of course, we did see quite a lot, especially to the second half of the race. We did see a lot of action going in between from within the top 10. And, wow, I mean, it was great throughout. And, of course, we do look forward to more of this.
You definitely will, and we'll be back, of course, next week. I'll have Ryan Shelton back in the comm box with me, folks, and it'll be great to get him out of bed early. Of course, he is living in, I think it's South Carolina, and so it's very early. I think it's like 6:30 a.m. for him when we call the action next week. But until then, folks, thanks, Weehan, for joining me tonight. It's been a pleasure as always, mate, and hopefully you've enjoyed it.
Oh, sure. It has been a pleasure for me. Thanks for bringing me into this.
Very welcome. And of course, folks, thank you for joining us tonight. Whether you joined us through YouTube or you've joined us through iRacing Live, we appreciate everybody that tunes in, and also the people that come in and join us in the chat on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. It's always great having the guys in there and having that discussion going as the race unfolds. But folks, until we meet again, thank you for tuning into RRTV, and hopefully, I'm hoping you'll have a great day tomorrow wherever you are in the world. But until our next coverage, and until you can tune in again, on behalf of Weehan Chan, I'm Bernie Weemers. Thanks for tuning into RRTV, and we will catch you again very soon. Good night.